It's Wednesday, September 18th, and there may or may not be a large shipment of baby oil bottles so massive hitting the black market that it may or may not impact global prices.
Authorities reportedly seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Baby oil, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
There was something in that other than baby oil.
It's a working segue. Okay, let me try again. Maybe we don't need a segue. He's accused of inducing female victims and male sex workers into drugged up, sometimes days-long sexual performances dubbed freak-offs.
All those in London that don't know what happens to the white man when he comes to a P. Diddy party. This is what happens to the white man.
Can I even play this? And so the indictment came down on Diddy. And I'm reading this out a little bit. They write out his whole persona. Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. PD, a.k.a. Love. I wonder if they have to do that in court. They open it up here. For decades, the defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. The defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them. Obtaining and distributing. So he force-fed them drugs. Okay, let me read. Controlling their careers. Oh, controlling their careers. Since when do sex trafficking victims have careers? And this goes on here for a couple of pages about his businesses and explaining who is being indicted, that it's Sean Combs and his various business entities that they are collectively calling the Combs Enterprise. You know, the allegations of bribery, fraud, and other things associated with racketeering, okay? Sounds pretty illegal. Also, prostitution and drugs also sounds illegal. But then on the sex trafficking, fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers. So fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, so they agreed to fulfill his personal, what am I supposed to gather from this? They're fulfilling his personal desires. There's really little talk about non-consensual sexual acts. It's only this amorphous claim of fulfilling his personal desires. And then they say, including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers. Okay, so he paid them. Okay, so he paid them too. Oh, okay. And then, of course, the rest of this is the indictment of the bribery, the fraud, and all the things associated with, I guess, racketeering. Is it sex trafficking? Not if everybody wants to be there, says attorney 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. So who is charging Diddy? Who's the entity that is bringing this indictment? I find out it's the DOJ, basically. See, the U.S. is divided by 94 federal districts, okay? Each district has a chief prosecutor, and these are the attorneys in charge of representing the U.S. government, okay? You know, they take down big stuff and the big... So I find this a little weird. You got to understand me. Allow me to explain. Because this sex trafficking stuff gets thrown around so flippantly. Like, I noticed, just like the word grape, it shows that these so-called hollowed halls of the American system and of justice can really be full of activists. Damian Williams, and this is Damian Williams, let me show you. I don't know much about this Damian Williams, okay, United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, who is, by the way, appointed by Biden as the first black attorney for the district. Look, I don't know if he's an activist, but I notice that his case and the way he talks about it is all about how Diddy exploited and abused these women for years. The U.S. Attorney's Office, they're making this big stink and this big indictment. And it's like, yeah, you guys got to deal with, I don't know, organized crime and racketeering and drugs and prostitution. I guess that's what you guys do, so do it. But you read the indictment and you listen to Damian Williams, it's all about the abuse of these women and what he's done to them for these years. Claims of these poor women that were trafficked, these women with careers, and they could leave and they weren't being force-fed drugs, allegedly. They could get up, they had phones. They were alone, not with Diddy, away from him. These women had careers. He let them have careers. Look, they don't frame it as a prostitution ring, which is its own crime. I don't know if you know anything about Damian Williams, but he's been doing work. He's got a lot of high profile cases ever since he became the first black attorney. A lot of high profile cases. Sam Alt, like the Bankman-Fried guy. And it's of my opinion that these agencies and agents within these agencies want to empower themselves, banking on the immoral public to allow what seems like legal hogwash to take place like this. It's strange. Look, something my senses are going off, like these people don't really care about sex trafficking, because then they wouldn't have to bend definitions and all that. It's fine. Look, people commit crimes. They should go down for those things. Fine. But there's like an agenda here. Like, what are you talking about? This world is for men. It's patriarchy. It's you guys made the laws. Blah, 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 blah. Here's one of the comments. You know what's more scary? Women getting raped every day. It happens every day. That's scarier than whatever misandry you're talking about. And then you get women in America going around spreading. Remember when they were parading around this whole 1 in 4 women are raped? Either this person's coming at us from third world X, where that stuff's more prevalent, or this person is in America where women aren't missing any rights. That's just not happening. There's no rights they're missing. Point me out one. You know, you look at what crime stats, whatever, around the world. Yeah, it's men who do violence. They do violence. But you know, it's something that doesn't get talked about. And the reason it doesn't is because of the position the world is putting women in. Women are really just as happy to do evil things to other women, for example. On this whole sex trafficking thing, something that does not get talked about is the role of female traffickers in all this, which is very significant. I mean, even the UN talked about it, as quiet as it's kept now. As quiet as it's kept now when buried. You could look it up. They used to put out all sorts of reports on human trafficking in the world. And they made this amazing claim and this amazing insight on sex traffickers' role of women and how female traffickers are just as common as male traffickers in some countries. In some countries, it's only female traffickers. Women trafficking women is the norm. This is one of the oldest, most ancient things. The brothel owners, the ladies, they had a head lady. This doesn't get mentioned. That women are integral ingredient in sex trafficking. Psychology Today, sex traffickers, the hidden role of women, from the United Nations themselves. So that's a funny little thing about sex trafficking, and we're protecting the devil. The world is protecting the devil by protecting women. What do y'all think? There goes Nick defending rapists again, huh? But it's like, that's so obvious. Obviously that's wrong. Oh, pedophilia and all that. Like, you don't need me to tell you that's wrong. And I get that there's this whole other angle with Sean Diddy Combs. There was a lawsuit filed by his former Chicago music producer, Lil Rod Jones Jr. Rodney Jones Jr. made much more claims in his lawsuit. All sorts of claims. Look, it's all this stuff about sexual exploitation, that he puts cameras everywhere so that he can have secret videos of all sorts of people so that he can blackmail people. So I get that there's this whole other angle, the child abusing elite, and they are running Hollywood and rap, and they're blackmailing, and it's so dark, and these people just want to. And you got this guy going around. I don't have a problem with this guy. I forget his name. He's on TikTok, but he's like this conspiracy guy, and he's like breaking it all down. He's like, look how evil this world is. And it's funny to watch him, and he's all like disappointed because it's just gonna be Diddy, and they're gonna sweep it under the rug. But he's holding out. He says he keeps pointing out little details, saying it might just be possible that they're gonna take down the real people. It's like these people think they're gonna defeat a PDF file elite. The elite is made up of people, okay, and these people are kind of a mirror to the milieu of society. And then this conspiracy guy is like, they're gonna get him. They're really gonna end the PDF file elite. Like, they haven't done that for thousands of years, man. It's an evil world. What the heck are you talking about? You just get here. And then there's all these images of celebrity and other celebrities standing next to Diddy, and they're like, we're gonna get you, Taylor Swift. We're gonna get you, Obama. Like, you found some metric to judge your fellow man. Like, you know what that means. Like, you really know. You don't. Where was all these people with all these leaks before if Diddy was so evil? Oh, now you can get a come up from it. It's all egos, man. It's all crazy. And this super focus on the worst and craziest, most nasty crimes is a mass psyop from the devil to not look at us. Guess who makes up this society? America. Sordid, nasty, corrupt America. Guess who makes it up? Okay? Yeah. And these female traffickers, man. Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, do I need to say more?